Unstoppable kick-ass confidence. Are you ready?
Welcome to the Raw and Unscripted show with Christopher Rausch, where we help you overcome your self-created crap without the self-help fluffy bullshit. Now please welcome our host, Christopher Rausch.
And please welcome Christopher Rausch. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the Kickass Nation, my misfits for life? It is I, Christopher Rausch, your No Excuses coach, back here with another episode of the Raw and Unscripted show with yours truly, Christopher Rausch, the place I help you overcome your self-created crap without the self-help fluffy bullshit. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We're back here Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Put it in your calendar, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, every single Tuesday, bringing you the goods. What I designed to do here is to help reshape your perspective, your attitude, and everything else that you're working for so you can have a kick-ass, unstoppable life and fly your freak flag. And tonight's show is a little bit extra special because it's just you and me. Just you and me having a conversation. And truth be told, don't tell anybody. This is a recorded show because guess where I'm at? Italy. I'm in Italy. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, leaving on the 15th and coming back on the 30th. So I got to pre-record some of the shows, and you're already going to see this, but I'm actually going to play my second show that I ever did that was not even a video cast. It was actually just something me recording the podcast for a podcast network I was on called the Speaking of the Heart Podcast Network. But I'm going to show you show number 2. Show number 1 was kind of flunky and clunky and everything. It wasn't really meant to be shown as a video cast, but I'm going to show it to you as a video cast and just let you guys know where I started from, because I get so many compliments on the background and, oh my God, it's so cool. And all your show's so great, but we all got to start somewhere. And the God's honest truth, I did a live radio show for 2 years called the Kickass Radio Show. If you go to my website, if you go under media and you see radio, you can still actually get all the episodes. It's crazy. It's called the Kickass Radio Show. And each week I interviewed one person who gave 5 kick-ass tips for living an unstoppable life. And I did that for 2.5 years. And then I stopped. I was kind of like over it. And technology was kind of fucked up and shit. This was back in 2016, I think. And I just tabled it. And this thing, podcasting, was coming out. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do a podcast. And I kept saying it and thinking about it, but I overbuilt it in my mind. And then ultimately came up with this show, the Raw and Unscripted show, which now we are on episode, I think we're on episode, let me see. We're on episode 164, I think, at the time of this airing. And, I've just had an absolute blast with doing it. And what I want to do tonight is I just want to take you guys inside and let you guys know about some things that I've got going on and just kind of help you really evaluate where it is in your journey. And tonight I want to talk about living versus existing. And as a component of that, I'm going to take you backstage and kind of just show you what's involved in my group coaching program and kind of just really show you the totality of what it is that I bring when I'm not here on the Raw and Unscripted show. I know some of you have been my coaching clients, and thank you very much. But one of the things that I'm actually dedicated to doing that I've never done before is I'm going to put out courses and smaller ways to work with me, because I want to be able to impact the world. That's my whole goal. But I realize that not everybody can afford to work with me on a one-on-one basis. So at the urging of my coach, at the urging of 2 of my mentors, they said, Chris, you need to get courses out there. You need to get programs out there. So that way people can level up as they want to work with you. Makes absolute sense. Truth be told, it's called a sales funnel. I've not been one of those big guys. I just figure if you want to work with me, you're going to find a way to get resourceful, to find the income, to make sure that we can work together one-on-one. I haven't been really interested in having courses out there because I truly want to be interacting with you guys. However, but this is going to be really cool. I've got a way in my brain that I'm going to do it. So it is exactly like you're working with me. So it's going to be just like this, but you're going to be paying a lot less, but you're going to still be getting the same impact. So I want to walk you through that. But the big thing I want to talk about today is living versus existing. And I think it's something that we're all guilty of. And it really comes down to a few things that I just want to highlight for you. Then I want to show you some slides that will serve as pictures to kind of just walk you through the process of how we get unfucked, how we unfuck ourselves from going from, that complacency, that mediocrity, that scarcity of just living. We're just living day to day, paycheck to paycheck. And I know what that's like. I did that for a long time. And then I started realizing, like, living versus existing. I'm just existing here. What would it take for me to truly live? I said that wrong before. That I was just existing. I was just going from day to day, hoping, wishing, and praying that something was going to change and just busting my ass, but really not feeling that I was getting anywhere. And so what I want to teach you guys tonight is how to go from existing, being comfortably miserable, being complacent, being mediocre, to actually being truly kick-ass unstoppable. So we're going to walk through this process tonight. So hang on, and we're going to do things a little bit differently here. But when I think about, existing versus living, I think about the fact that a lot of us have a lack of clarity. We don't know what we want. But here's the thing, and here's a golden nugget for you right now. You know what you don't want, right? You don't want to be broke. You don't want to be alone. You don't want to be unhealthy. You don't want to be sick. You don't want to be tired. You want to be in shape. You want to have a companion. You want to have finances to be able to go and do things, right? I mean, agree with me, right? So when we think about going from existing to living, there's one component that we really have to find, and that's clarity. We have to find clarity in who we desire to become, in what we want to achieve, and clarity in what it is that we're willing to let go of in that pursuit, because we got to let shit go. We got to let people go. We got to let old habits go. We have to let old self-limiting beliefs go. If you think that you can't, if you sit there and tell yourself, oh, I tried it before and it didn't work. Oh, I tried it before and I can't do it. Oh, all these different things, these limited beliefs. When you think about that, it's kind of like this. It's kind of like, and I've actually heard this, when baby elephants are born as part of the circus, they chain them to a plastic chair. And they're small enough where they can't move the plastic chair. I don't know if it's a plastic chair or metal chair, but they chain them to a chair and they grow up thinking, because they're small and they can't move the chair, that when they get older, they don't realize that they have 10 tons of capacity to move the chair and move everything else. But their belief system, they've been ingrained to believe that they can't move. And that's what's happened to you. That's what happened to me because of all the belief systems, the conditioning process. And I want to talk about that in a second, of what shapes our beliefs and how we can break that pattern, break that cycle, to be able to make sure that we're doing things that we really need to be doing for our greater good, to have that kick-ass unstoppable life. I'm living a great life. I'm not going to sit here and go through all the different things that I have, but let me just say I have a great life, but I busted my ass for it. I've had a lot of discipline. I've had a lot of mentors and coaches, and I'm invested in myself, and I do the work. I read the books. I listen to the books. I have mentors, and I do book clubs, and I do Clubhouse, and I do all these different things. I'm constantly thirsty for where it is that I'm going, because I want to expand my beliefs. I don't want them to be limited. I want to expand them. And one of the aspects of what we can do in that is really examine what we're afraid of, right? When you think of the fears and everything that goes on, we're afraid of failure. We're afraid of judgment. We're sometimes even afraid of becoming so good that we're going to leave other people behind. And that's the God's honest truth of what I've experienced in my life. Is there have been moments in my stages of development where I've been so hungry and thirsty to grow and to thrive, that the people around me are like, oh, Chris, why are you doing that? You should come over here and have beer. You should watch the game. You should do this. You should stay complacent and miserable, just like me. Because when you think about it, what's that phrase? Misery loves company. Misery loves company. So when you think about that, those people are going to hold you back. So when you think about fear, you got to overweigh the fear of failure, making mistakes, all the different stuff. You have to expand your beliefs that is happening for you, that everything in your life up until this point is preparing you for what's next. But so often we have that closed mindset that we think life is happening to us. Why does this keep happening to me? Is God testing me? God, source, universe? Absolutely. They're testing you to see how bad you want it. Because when you think about it, if everybody could have it and it was easy for everybody, then where would the fun be? And you might think I'm fucking crazy depending on what your situation is. But here's the thing. I have studied successful people. I have studied rich people. I know wealthy people. I know stars. I know significant celebrities. And here's the thing. When they get to that point where they have all that money and everything else, what else is there? And you think, oh, happiness, I would go do this. I've talked to them. I've talked to guys that quit their jobs, sold their company for millions of dollars and went and sat by the lake and did all those things. And guess what? And this is no bullshit. I fucking tell you the truth. They're miserable. Why? Because they miss the grind. They miss the hustle. They miss the aspect of growing and having your back to the wall sometimes. Because what is that? That's leverage. When you have everything, what? Okay. What am I going to do for the rest of my life? Obviously, you can impact people. I get what you're saying. And I know you're sitting at home thinking like, okay, that's crazy. But trust me, you can go Google it for yourself. What do successful people miss the most about their journey? And that's what they do. And that's why they go back into business. That's why people who retire find out they're bored. And if they retire and don't have anything to do, they get old and fat and they die early. So you always have to have a why. You always have to be thinking about that. And you always have to be ready to see what it is that I have to eliminate from my life in order to get to the next level. Because we can't take it all with us. We can't take our bad habits and our self-limiting beliefs with us. Otherwise, everybody would be successful. And that's crazy. So when I think about it, I think about those patterns and I think about those habits. And what I do as your no excuses coach is I help you break those patterns. I help you shift your perspectives just a little bit here and there. And as you shift your perspectives, guess what? You gain more confidence. And as you gain more confidence, you want to go do more. And as you do more, you want to be more. You want to feel better. I feel great. But actually, when I come back from Italy, I'm going to quit drinking for a while. Just because I want more clarity, I want more energy, and I really want my back against the wall to produce these products and these programs for you so we can all work together, because my whole thing is about influence. How can I influence you to have a different perspective about your past, present, and your future? How can I get you to become aware of your situation? How can I get you to accept responsibility for it? And how can I get you to take action on it so that you're not miserable? And then when you're not miserable, guess what? You're happy. And what do you want to do? You want to go help other people happy. So this is my way of throwing a big rock into a pond and creating some ripples for all of you guys to sit there and see what are the capacity you have to change where it is that you're at and what you can do to achieve that. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about how to have a kick-ass, unstoppable life. And one of those belief systems is the fact that we value our worth. We disvalue our worth. So we sit there and think, oh, nobody's going to buy from me. Nobody's going to listen to me. Why would they want that? I was just talking to somebody today when they originally started their business. They're like, well, who would pay this much for these things? And then she found the right target market. She was looking at the people who couldn't afford it. But once she shifted her perspective and created the ideal client that she wanted in her head, now she just told me today that she's looking to add staffing resources to her business because it's going great. And she literally went from that scarcity mindset of just existing, hoping, wishing, and praying somebody will buy my product so I can feel good about myself. And then she just realized she was barking up the wrong door, or climbing up the wrong ladder, if you will. So when you think about your worthiness, it's about investing in yourself and investing your time and energy to continually grow and to learn and to implement the things that you're learning. And I know you guys have been watching the show. You watched it, every single week. Oh my God, Chris, it's so inspiring and everything. But what have you done? What have you done? And I would love for you to tell me. I would love for you to tell, Chris, I've been watching your show and here's the 5 things I've implemented. Here are the things that have changed in my life. Because what I'm seeing is a lot of people are addicted to personal development. They're addicted to showing up and reading, but they don't apply. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to point the finger at myself. I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books. I have read thousands of books. But I can tell you on one hand how many times I really sat down with that book and applied those strategies. Of course, I apply a strategy here and there. That's why I'm successful. But if I really committed myself to reading those books and doing what's in those books, things would change. Things would absolutely change. And that's what I want for you guys. I want you guys to be able to change your perspective, change what it is that you're doing, and apply the stuff that you're working with. And I realize that requires an investment, because when people don't pay, they don't pay attention. And I can tell you this, I've done free coaching. When I first started out as a coach, I did what's called pay it forward coaching, where I would actually coach the person for 6 weeks. And in that time, all they had to do to pay me back was to do 3 nice things for a complete stranger and come tell me about it. That was the payment. That was it. I swear to God, 6 weeks free. And you just do 3 nice things for other people. And what I found out is, number one, getting out of your comfort zone was a big thing. And we're going to do that in this program. But also the thing is they realized how much they have. They have gratitude now for all the different things. They went and volunteered at a homeless shelter and found out there were people just like them. They were homeless. They were 1 paycheck away that wound up getting evicted. And then now they're here in that situation. How many of us have been in that situation? I've been in that situation many times where I borrow money to pay rent or to pay electricity. There's days where I didn't go to work because I didn't have gas money. So I was like, do I pay the electric bill or do I call in sick 2 days so I can get to work? Then when I get my check, I can go to work. I've played all those games. Back in the old days, this is how old I am. I wrote checks. You could write checks and you could float them. You could float them for a couple of days before they hit the bank. So if you wrote a check on Tuesday, you knew you were getting paid on Thursday and the check wasn't going to clear until Friday, you floated that money. That was one of the ways that I survived. I don't think you can do that. I don't think you can do that anymore, but I know people still try that. But when you think about what it is that we can do to be able to shift our perspective, shift that worthiness, and really get out of that comfortably miserable state where we're good enough, right? And when I think about life, was I put here on this earth to beat out 600 million sperm just to be good enough? What about you? Ask yourself right now, was I put on this earth just to be good enough? Just to be good enough? And I see these people all the time. They're actually my target market right now. They're people that are comfortably miserable. They've got everything, but they just don't have the next piece of leverage, the next piece of information or anything to make that jump. And if you've never seen it before, watch the video, Steve Harvey Jump on YouTube. It's 2 minutes and it will inspire the hell out of you, because the people that are flying and doing all the stuff in the world, they jumped. They got out of their comfort zone and said, fuck the comfort zone. I'm going to go live my life. Nobody has ever said, hey, I was born to exist. That's all I was born to do. I was just born to exist and kind of try to make it through life and hope and wish and pray that something's going to change. The only thing that's changed, changes is within you. So I want to show you a couple of pictures right here. This is not the usual way I do things, but we're just going to go ahead and roll with it here for a second. So I am going to, excuse me for a second while I move my screens around, because I want to give you guys visuals for those who are visual. And where is my thingy? I have my camera right in front of it. So the first thing I want to show you right now is to give you a representation of the cycle of insanity. The cycle of insanity, ladies and gentlemen. So when you think about it, you've got a bad attitude, right? So if I have a bad attitude and then something happens that perpetuates that bad attitude, then I've got a worse attitude. And the next event is a worse attitude and a worse attitude. So what happens right here is you just keep going and going and going. When is this ever going to end? Right? How many times have you asked yourself, when is this ever going to end? It ends when you fucking decide it's going to stop. That's it. It's going to stop. Chris, it's going to stop. And I've seen people have those breakthroughs on coaching calls where they're deciding to work with me. I'm like, you decide when it stops. You decide when it stops. When you open your checkbook, when you throw out your credit card, when you stripe me, that's when it stops. Because now you made a commitment. You actually have invested in yourself to where there is skin in the game for you to actually take action. I watch these podcasts and I watch these videos and I do all these things, Chris. Okay, what are you applying? Again, it goes back to applying. Who's holding you accountable? If you don't get anything out of this show tonight, who is holding you accountable? Me, I guess. Okay, how are you doing at that? Would you say a 10? Would you say 8? Would you say a 6 or a 4? And if you say a 6 or a 4 or whatever it is, don't say 7 because that's never allowed. When somebody says you tell me something from 1 to 10, I always eliminate 7 because most people go for 7 to try to say that they're kind of there and they're almost there, but they're not there. It's just bullshit. You're either 8, 9, or 10, or you're a 4, 5, or 6, or sometimes a 1, 2, or 3. So where are you at? And then ask yourself the question, when did it become acceptable to be average? When did it become acceptably just good enough? When I could be great, when I was born here to be excellent. Were you born here to be excellent? I hope so. I hope so. But let me just tell you something right now. Let me just tell you something right now. Come here. Fucking life ain't guaranteed. The next 10 minutes aren't guaranteed. The next 10 years aren't guaranteed. The next 10 days aren't guaranteed. And if you died 3 days from now, would you look on your life right now and be, yeah, I'm glad I stayed safe. I'm glad I didn't risk anything. I'm glad I listened to all the people who are fucking miserable too. Are you going to say that? If you literally, I want you to think about that. I want you to think about that. These are the things that I think about that keep me going. They may be dark, but they fucking keep me going. So that's what I want to do for you. So let's look at something else. Let me think about this. So there's one thing. So let's go with this one. So this one is a little bit better representation as well. So let's see what we got here. So this is your reality. And this is something I've created based on the fact of what happens in our life. So the very first thing is this conditioning down here at the bottom. The conditioning process. If you watch the show for any length of time, you know what I'm talking about. The age from 0 to 5. What were you told? What were your beliefs? What are your fears? What are all those different things that made you the person that you are today? All those different beliefs, because guess what? Those conditionings created the beliefs. Oh, I believe this about myself. I believe this about everybody. I believe I have to give everybody else my attention and my time and my money. Then I can take care of myself. I believe that I suck at everything and I'm no good. I believe that everybody else is going to be better than me at everything and I'm just going to have to suck it up and just do it. All the different beliefs. You think about being a kid. I'm not good enough. I'm not this. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not. All those beliefs, guess what? Created your attitude. Those beliefs create your attitude. If you think the world is out to get you, guess what? You're going to find that the world is out to get you. Again, that bad attitude. I'm looking for evidence that the world is bad because I keep telling everybody the world's bad. So if the world's bad, really? So that shapes your attitudes. And when you think about your attitudes, what happens? So I feel like the world is out to get me. What are my feelings? What are my emotions? How am I operating? I'm operating out of fear. I'm operating out of scarcity. I'm operating out of, I need evidence to prove that I'm right. And this is why I'm just complacent and stale and just existing in life. I need that validation so I can go back and tell all the other people that are miserable too, hey, I found more proof today. Somebody cut me off. Oh, and I got a flat tire and you got a flat tire? You have a car? That's really cool. Did you get to change it? Yeah. Okay, cool. Awesome. Some people don't get to do that. You have an opportunity, you have a car, you have a job, you have all these things. Look at the things you're grateful for. And when you think about the feelings ultimately will create your actions, which is I'm really trying to tell you the whole thing. So if you feel good about yourself, if you feel there's opportunity, if you feel capable, if you feel a little bit more confident than you did yesterday, are you going to step out of your comfort zone? Yeah. It's called compound interest for your mind. That's what my program, that's what working with me is all about. It's compound interest for the mind. As you continue, when you go back, you can't change the conditioning, but you can change your perspective. You can change your opinion about what happened about your life. And you can start looking at life as happening for you instead of to you. Like instead of why does this keep happening to me? Hey, this is happening for me. What is it that I can learn from this? How can I take this and grow and become a better person? Right? Why is this disadvantage or this thing? Why is this here? But so oftentimes we're tired of having these challenges. But if you watch the hero's journey on YouTube, it's called the Joseph Campbell story. It's YouTube. I talk about it all the time. I actually just had somebody reach out and said they watched it. And I give it out every time. Well, not every time. I give it out a lot for people to watch. And I say, after you watch it, tell me about it. Because I want to make sure that people are watching it. But people, oh yeah, I forgot. I don't have time. But I'm sitting here telling you, I'm giving you free advice. People pay me a lot of money to work with me, and I'm giving you free advice, but still you don't want to do it. So that tells me you're not ready. You just want the free shit, and that's okay. If you want the free shit, that's how I did it too. But let me tell you something. I did it by myself for years and years and years and years. And then in 2013, true story, I was sitting in a mastermind. I was sitting at an event in Los Angeles, 800 people in the room, getting all motivated and hyped up and feeling, man, I want to do that. I want to do what that guy's doing on stage. I want to do that. How do I do that? He's doing it. And then I had an opportunity. They put a piece of paper in front of me and they said, you can join this mastermind. And I thought the mastermind was going to be like 20 grand. I already had it made up in my mind before the sheet ever got to my desk, before my table, that I couldn't afford it, that I couldn't do it. Right? So I've already got that belief system in there. So what do you think my attitude and my actions were going to be? Well, I'll just throw the paper next, I can't do it. There's no way. Scarcity, all that other lack. And then it landed in front of me and it was $5,000 for 1 year. And I sat there and thought about it. I'm like, $5,000, fuck. And I just got my bonus check from work. And I always use my bonus check to pay off my credit cards, because if I didn't have enough money, I'd have to use my credit cards. So when I got a bonus check, I would use that to pay off my debt and then start the process over again. And when I got this, I looked down and I'm like, but I had bills to pay. I had all sorts of shit. I'd been putting off working on my car, not my primary car, but my 69 Charger. And I was like, oh, I got $5,000. I could put a motor in it. I could do all these things. But then I thought, I've been doing this by myself for a long time, and I'm not anywhere near where that guy is. That guy has the information. He's doing it. He's successful. He just dropped a page in front of me. There's 800 people in the audience, and he's offering this at $5,000. Do the math. He's done it. He's doing it. He's teaching me how to do it. All I have to do is write a check for $5,000. And that sounds like a lot, right? $5,000. It is a lot of money. I'm not going to fucking kid you. It's crazy. But that investment landed me in the fact that I got to be in the room with people who were brighter and smarter than me, people who cared about my best interest, not the people that wanted to keep me complacent, but these people were like, dude, tell me about your story. What is it you want to accomplish? What are your limiting beliefs? What are your excuses and everything else? And that was when I was a suit and tie speaker, not wearing the bandana, doing the little hand pose that everybody does. You can see the videos. They're on my YouTube channel. It's Suit and Tie Days. It was on my YouTube channel. It is youtube.com/Christopher Rausch. Or you can go to my website and check it out there. It's all, you can find it. It's funny actually seeing me in a suit and tie. And that's where I came up with the Kickass Guide to Life. This is where I came up with Raw&Unscripted. This is where I just decided, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this being me. And just that was worth it alone. Just to pay that money, just to figure out that I was trying to be somebody else that I'm not for money. No way. So when I thought about that, I'm like, that $5,000, I'm like, if I can't make $5,001 back doing what I absolutely love to do, my zone of genius and everything else, then I have no fucking business doing it. I swear to God. I was like, I had a day job making 6 figures good. And I'm like, why am I pushing myself to do all these things and working these extra hours and going to these networking events and going to speak at all these different places for low money or little money? It was crazy. So I wrote the check, and I have never regretted it, because that $5,000 got me way more money than that. Let me just say that. But it got me around the right people, and it got me to shift my perspectives by changing that conditioning pattern, by changing the perceptions and the beliefs and the attitudes and the actions to be working for me and not to me. I still self-sabotage every once in a while, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. But the fact that I just started taking action, I took risk. I put money in the game. Now I'm going to get value out of this. I'm going to get $1 more out of this $5,000 that I invested. And it's definitely paid dividends. And when I sit there and I think about, the opportunity that I want for you guys is that same opportunity. And here's something true. I was talking with my coach the other day, last week, and she started kicking my ass. She was like, dude, this is kind of crazy, but you only want people to work with you on one-on-one coaching, but that's a certain price tag. What if you put out a group coaching program, which I've done, and I've done group coaching programs a few times. What if you put out a course? What if you put out a 6-week course and charge X amount of money just as a way for people to get a teaser of how it is to work with you one-on-one? What if you started filling this pipeline and getting more people to do this? And honestly, it was just a lot of different perspectives went into this, but ultimately I'm sitting here listening to my coach, and she's a brilliant person. And I'm like, you know what? I need to get out of my comfort zone again. I need to do the things that I can do to help you guys, which will in turn help me as well grow and get out of my own different belief systems about myself and about how I want to help the world and change the world. But the fact is that when there's skin in the game, people will definitely change a lot better than they will when there isn't. And I've had to learn that the hard way because I give and give and give and give. I'm on Clubhouse for 6 hours a week. I do these shows every week. I do this show. I do the unfiltered show. I'm going to be doing another show. So I'm investing. And I do my YouTube videos and I do my social media posts. I'm giving free content out all the time. Now it's time to receive compensation for all the value and all the things that I've invested in myself in. And I'm telling you that transparently, because this is what goes on. If you want to start a business, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to do these things. You have to go through the process of finding out where it is that you're stuck, where your limiting beliefs are, and be able to change your perspectives. You got to be able to change your perspective. So I want to show you another slide here real quick. And let's see, let's go to this. It's not normally the custom way I do training, but I think I'm going to kind of do this. So this is what I call perspective shifting. This is something I created out not too long ago. And I thought about the fact of how can we have two different perspectives? And let's talk about that. So we can have the perspective of living in fear, or we can have the perspective of living in excitement. So see that up at the top? I hope you guys can see that. So on the fear side, the first thing I thought about is anxiety. I deal with anxiety. I know a lot of people out there deal with anxiety. And when you think about that, the fact that anxiety is what? Is energy. So when you look at it under fear, there's anxiety, but then under excitement, there's energy. And so here's what I found out. I was standing in line at Six Flags Magic Mountain here in Southern California one time. This was years and years ago. And in front of me, there was people that were super excited about riding Colossus. Like, oh my God, it's going to be so exciting. We're going to put our hands up, blah, blah, blah. And they were all excited. A couple of people behind me were shitting bricks. They were like, oh my God, it's so tall. I don't know if I could do this. And just, oh my God, what if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens? They were just literally saying it right there. And I was listening to these two conversations. And it took me a long time later to really realize some people were operating out of a fear of or a perspective of fear. And then some people are operating out of a mindset of excitement. And so when you think about that, that's just a choice. That's just shifting your perspective to say, hey, I'm excited about this. I'm not afraid of this. I'm excited about this. So that's one way you can shift your perspective. Another one is if you're operating out of doubt, that's in fear. So if you're in a fearful state, doubt is going to be creeping up. Oh, I don't know if I could do this. That probably won't work. All these different things. But again, when you look at excitement, it's about certainty. It's about certainty. So when you're excited, then you're certain. There's no doubt. You're excited because you're certain about whatever's going to happen, you're going to learn from it. And as you learn from things, you grow from them, right? Let me ask you a question. I want you to answer it honestly. When have you grown the most? When things were easy or when things were challenging? And Chuck, the answer is B, when things were challenging. I don't think any of you could have said, I learned the most when things were great. Because when we go through those challenges, that hero's journey, like I talked about before, those challenges are what taught us what not to do or what to do next time. So when I ask people, do you learn from your mistakes? Most people say yes. Most of the time. Okay, that's usually the answer I hear. I'm like, well, go make more. They always look at me like I have three eyes. Like, what? Nobody's ever told me to go make more mistakes. Everybody in my life, that conditioning process that created the beliefs, that created the attitudes, that created the actions, told them that. Don't go make more mistakes. Stop making mistakes. You're going to get a shitty grade. If you make mistakes, then people won't like you. Make mistakes, blah, blah, blah. All the different things. Think about this in your mind. How many times you were told mistakes were bad? Don't make mistakes. So what we get perfectionistic. That's where I was. My mom would beat the shit out of me if I got bad grades or if I screwed shit up. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to do anything. The less I do, the less I have to be judged for. And that may resonate with you. The less I do, the less I have to be judged for. But when you think about that perspective, when you're around the right people, they tell you to go take risks. They're not mistakes. They're a risk. It might work out. What if it does work out? Holy shit. Imagine that. What if we focused on it working out instead of it potentially going bad? Because there's this thing called a reticular activation system that says, I'm going to focus where my focus goes, my energy is going to flow. And so when you think about that, when you think about the opportunity that you can actually have certainty in the fact that whatever you're going to go through, you're going to grow through, doesn't that give you more self-confidence? You think about that. What's the next one? Scarcity versus abundance. Scarcity is a fear mindset. Abundance is an excitement mindset. Boredom is a fear mindset. Adventure is an excitement. Oh, I'm bored, because I'm afraid and I don't want to go out and adventure. When you were a kid, were you adventurous? Absolutely. Did you do things without thinking? Absolutely. Did you care about the outcomes? Whatever. No. If that bike riding didn't work, you went and climbed a tree. If that didn't work, you just kept going because you were curious. You had the sense of adventure before somebody squashed it and said, get your head out of the clouds. You got to be realistic. You got to have goals and you got to make money and you got to have a 401k and you got to have a pension and all this different stuff. and we lost our sense of adventure again in that conditioning process where we went from kids to quote unquote adults, and we left all that behind. And what I want to do is I want to get you back to a playful state of mind and a playful way to see life as an adventure, as an opportunity to grow and expand. And that's what we're going to do. I'm going to take you from being good enough to I'm going to take you to be unstoppable. We're going to go from having a fog to having clarity. And then we're going to go from being lost to being found. And no, I'm not going to sing anything for you right now because I was lost and I was found. Yeah, no, actually that was funny. What's that song? I can't remember what. Amazing Grace. Truth be told, side story. That was the first song I sang in my singing class. I actually took singing lessons way back in the day. And that was the first song I ever had to sing in a group setting. And it was kind of crazy. So that's what I want to show you. And the next thing I want to show you is kind of like a bigger representation of how I do all this. So I want to show you this for a second. I hope you guys are finding value out of this. Again, this is recorded, but I'm going to be checking in on the comments. So if you have questions, if you have things you want to comment on, obviously comment them in the comment section. But if this is resonating with you, I want you to reach out to me, and I'll give you an opportunity to do that in just a second. But here, I want to show you another opportunity here. This is what I call my genius model. And this is what I do in my life to help my coaching clients. And I have to look at my screen right now to kind of help walk you through that. But whoops, I guess I can't do that. Yeah. And actually, truth be told, here's something I will share that with you. It's my background. It's my background on my desktop to be able to make sure that I'm staying congruent with my process. So let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger. I'm looking at it up here on the screen. So here is how it is to work with me. And right in the center, this thing right here, this is the juicy part. This is the kick-ass guide to life, right? The kick-ass life. Do you want a kick-ass life? Let me ask you. Do you want a kick-ass life? I hope so. So to have a kick-ass life, you got to have purpose. You got to know what your purpose is, right? So working with me, we got to figure out what our purpose is. And then we got to figure out mindset mastery, how to be able to, unfuck ourselves when we're having those negative thoughts. So that mindset mastery to be able to ultimately not have any excuses about our life. So that's the core. You got to have your purpose, you got to have mindset mastery, and you got to ditch the excuses in order to have a kick-ass life. The next part outside of that is right here, the commitment. Because when you don't have your commitment, if you don't have these things, if you have excuses, if you don't have mindset mastery, and you don't have a purpose, guess what? You don't have commitment. And if you don't have commitment, you probably don't have commitment because you're not getting the results. And you're not getting the results because you don't have the passion. And you don't have the passion because you're not getting fulfilled. So once you change that, then your commitment strengthens because you're seeing evidence. And the same thing with responsibility. When you think about if you don't have responsibility, if you're not taking responsibility to have all these things, then you're probably operating out of a victim mindset. And with that victim mindset, you're having that because you're lacking discipline. And when you're lacking discipline, you're lacking integrity. So if you don't have integrity, then chances are you're not going to have discipline and you're going to be a victim. So you think about that. Over to accountability. If you're not holding yourself accountable, if there's not accountability in your life, then you don't have certainty. Because you don't know what's going to happen next because you're not in control. You're existing in life. Think about that for a second. And if you don't have certainty, then what is your chances of having a feeling of significance? When you think about your life, are you feeling significant right now because you're not having all these things in your life? You're just sitting there mediocre or complacent? No. And that fulfills a legacy. So if you're not doing any of that, you're not fulfilling your legacy. And what you're doing is you're wasting your time because you beat out 600 million, 600 billion sperm, whatever the number is, in order to have that. So what I do is I teach you how to have a purpose, how to have clarity. I teach you mindset mastery to be able to overcome those excuses and ultimately not have any excuses. To be able to sit there and say, I don't have enough time. Okay, what do I need to do to have more time? What is it that I can give up for the priority of the situation to be able to have that? And then with that, we have your commitment, because your commitment is going to fuel your results. Your results are going to fuel your passion, and your passion is going to fuel your fulfillment. Same thing with responsibility. Once you start taking responsibility and you start taking action and you're starting to see the results and you're starting to see the fulfillment, guess what? You go from being a victim to being a victor. And then the next process is you start realizing you have more discipline than you ever thought you had before, because now you're getting the results. Now you're starting to see that incremental compound interest that I talk about, that I teach you how to do. And with that, you start having integrity. You start holding your head a little bit higher. You start looking at things and looking at people in your life going, yeah, man, I'm getting to this spot right here, and you're still staying at that spot. And they want to drag you back down because they don't want to be reminded of what it is that they're not doing in their life either. Make sense? Misery loves company, like I said before. So this is what we do. We go through this process, and through that process, there's a program that I do that will help you. And that's what I really want to talk about also, because I don't know if you've ever looked at it, but I actually have a group coaching program, and now I'm going to be launching it here in September. So I want to share that with you in a second. But I hope that you're finding value out of this. I really do. Because this is from the heart. This is from the heart. And this is not a sales thing or anything else. This is just giving you an inside glimpse of what it is like to work with me, because people will ask me after the show and they're like, so what is it to like to work with you? And I have these conversations over and over and over again. And I thought, what better way than be able to just let you guys know that I'm out here to help you. And I'm going to make an opportunity to help you. But I need your feedback. You guys are my misfits for life. You guys are part of the Raw&Unscripted family. You're a part of my family. And I need you to help me impact the world. And that starts with you. It starts with me. It starts with me getting off my ass and creating these programs. So I'm going to need your help. One of the biggest ways you can do that with me is to go to my website, ChristopherRausch.com, and I'll show you in a second. Go over to the contact page and there's a sign up. It's for my newsletter. Oh, newsletter, Chris. I don't want to talk a newsletter. I got a junk email for my newsletters, which I do too. You know, I'm always going to be honest, but I've not sent out a newsletter in years. But what I'm going to start doing for people who truly want to work with me, and this is again from my coach, whoever wants to truly work with me, whoever wants to be on the front end of all this stuff needs to be in that list, because those are the people that genuinely are taking that, even if it's just the action to sign up. I'm not going to spam you. I'm going to start doing probably a monthly newsletter, maybe a few in the early beginning. I'm going to tag you to my blogs. I'm going to put all the links to my shows in there. I'm going to give you free advice. I'm going to give you opportunities to work with me. But right now, my big thing is that I will give you an opportunity to work with me in these programs at a very discounted rate. So if any of this speaks to you, then you have to go there and fill this out. I'm asking you to. You can keep coming to the shows. You can keep getting the other stuff, but I'm going to give you an opportunity to work with me, but I need you to do it. I need you to take that step, get in there. And that way you could be on the front line of receiving what's next. And I want that for you. I do. So if I ever spam you, you can delete me and tell me to fuck off, but I promise it probably will never happen. So the thing I want to show you next is and some of you may not even know that I really did this. You may not even know that I did this. I have an amazing web designer. His name is Ben Hayden. Ben is truly incredible. So actually, I'm just going to try to remove my face from here. Can I do this? There we go. So here's my website. Right up here, you got home, you got coaching. Right underneath there, you got group coaching class, you got one-on-one coaching, you got 2-day private immersion. If you want to work with me and come stay at my house for a weekend, that's pretty cool. And I've got team coaching for businesses. In the media, I have my Clubhouse stuff. I've got my video cast, which is the Raw&Unscripted show that you're watching, and the Unfiltered experience. And then also on podcast, that's where you can go sign up for the podcast and get all that. And here's something interesting. I'll show you this. This is my radio show. So hang on a second. And by the way, Ben Hayden, if you ever need any web work done, Ben Hayden is amazing. So this is my radio show. Yeah, this is crazy. So, past shows. So let's see where this takes us. Let's just have a little fun here for a second. It's just you and me. So there it is. It's actually still on Apple Podcasts. There's the Kickass Guide to Life, 5 stars. How do we do it? It doesn't say how many episodes, but I did it for 2.5 years. So yeah, there is all that. And so we'll go back to this page. So we'll go back up here. We can go to events. We can go to speaking. If you want me to speak, and you can find that. The about page. And then here's the contact page where you go to sign up. It's super simple. All you got to do is put in your name, your last name, I think, and an email. Join my coaching newsletter. First name, last name, email, subscribe. Boom. You can even contact me if you want. I probably should take my phone number off there. So don't do that. But I want to point you out to this group coaching class because I want to take you through this process with me. I've never done this before. I went to great lengths to work with my web designer to be able to give you as much information about what it is that you're getting, what you're investing in. So let's just take a look at that. So Unstoppable Kick-Ass 6-month group coaching program starting September 22, Mondays at 5 p.m. That's pretty much where I've set it at, but we can talk. So here's a bunch of information, but here's the group. So focus on key benefits of the program. So I intend on reinventing you, empowering you, and causing you to excel. So there's 3 different themes within this. So stay with me. And it's all broken into weeks. So we got 24 weeks. That's 6 months. But here's the thing. I'm not going to just do a 6-month program. That's going to be for the people who really, really want to work with me at a much discounted rate because it's going to be a group coaching program. But from this, I think I'm going to make maybe a 6-week program or a 12-week program, something a little bit in between to work with me. I'll probably do a small course, and then I like doing programs with people because that way we can interface. But I just want to walk you through some of this stuff. You can go check it out yourself. But when you click this little plus button, so week 1, we're going to work on clarity. You will learn with crystal clear clarity how to redefine and redesign your life with powerful structures to achieve the unachievable. Number 2, week 2, accountability. You will learn the critical importance of being accountable for the results that you are standing for in your life. Week 3, we're going to talk about commitment. You will learn how to have integrity with your spoken word with what it is that you are saying you are committed to. Week 4, we're going to talk about beliefs and behavior change. We just talked about the self-limiting beliefs. We're going to rewire those beliefs. Right now, it says here, you will learn how to evolve your mindset to no longer have your subconscious beliefs sabotaging your results. You tired of being sabotaged? Are you tired of sabotaging yourself? That's what I was doing. I was sabotaging myself, and I was hoping and wishing and praying that somebody was going to come along and change it for me. Here, Chris, let me change it for you. Here's the magic pill. You've screwed up your life for 10 years. I'm going to make it to where you can fix it in 2 days. And that's what we all want. We all want the Amazon, the microwave, whatever it is, the instant gratification. How can I fix this quick, Chris? Let me ask you, how long did it take you to get to the spot? Well, I'm 42 years old. Okay. It took you 42 years to get to the spot. It might take me 6 months to help you break that shit. And God's honest truth that most people that work with me one-on-one, they work with me for a year. They do 2 6-month programs because the first 6 months is just about fixing the shit and just re-identifying, not fixing, but re-identifying where we're at and getting to the foundational basis for being able to execute and excel moving forward. But I'm going to try to do this all in 6 months with the program with you. And then there's week 5, being a rock star. You will learn how to be a rock star in your own life and the life of those most important to you. Week 6, we're going to work on gratitude. Gratitude is massive, massive. Massive, massive. If you take another nugget from this conversation, gratitude. When you live in a space of gratitude and you go out and serve other people who have less than you get more than you ever can imagine in return. That's why I did that pay it forward coaching. They came back and they learned that they got more value out of the coaching or out of the pay it forward stuff than they did the coaching. And I mean, obviously it was a combined effort, but they were really surprised at how much they were grateful for and how much they did not recognize that they truly had in abundance, because we're always looking for the things that we don't have. We think, oh, if I have that house, if I have that job, if I have that person, if I have this money, then I'll be happy. It's complete bullshit. Like I said before, I know people with lots and lots of money, lots of cars. They're empty. They're empty because they don't really have that true gratitude for where it is that they're at. They're in an ego state versus, a truly congruent state. Week 7, we're going to work on communication. We're going to talk about you will learn how to elevate your communication to improve the important relationships in your life, personally and professionally. We're going to go all over the place. This is about creating your kick-ass, unstoppable life. So we're going to go to relationships, communication, all sorts of stuff. And the second theme is empowerment. So when you think about that, we're going to talk about your state management. You will learn to manage your state of mind regardless of circumstances and experiences, to experiences that the peace that you deserve. Let me read that again. You will learn to manage your state of mind regardless of circumstances to experience the peace that you deserve. It was just the way I read it. Just imagine that. Can you change your state? Again, going back to that genius model I just showed you. When you change your state management, then everything else changes. There's a domino. Personal boundaries, right? When week 10, we're going to talk about you will learn how to implement personal boundaries to fuel your momentum, critical to achieve exponential results. Do you have boundaries right now? What are your boundaries? What are you tolerating? What are you tolerating? Right? What are your values? What are the things that you hold close to you? And are you enforcing those? Are you enforcing those with other people? Do you know what other people value? Whether people value? Are you having these conversations? It's all about expectations. Week number 11, we're going to talk about mastery of the inner critic. You will learn how to silence that debating inner critic voices that deny you your potential. Week 12, forgiveness. You will learn the importance of healing your past and learning the arts of true forgiveness. When you let shit go, man, I had animosity and anger towards my mom. I've been wronged by a lot of people. I've been backstabbed by a lot of people. I normally don't trust people. I've done a much better job over it the last 5-10 years. But before, I didn't trust anybody. You had to prove your trust to me. But when you think about that, when you think about the power of forgiveness, forgiving yourself for stupid shit you did before, when you relieve that pressure, when you relieve that stress, that anger, then you have love. Because with anger, you have fear. Think about that. And I talked about that before. Remember? Fear versus excitement. So think about that. So we're going to be talking about forgiveness in week 12. Again, we're still in the empowerment, but now there's even sub themes. Like this one is discipline. So integrity. Remember I was talking about integrity before? With integrity, you will learn what it means to live an integritous life congruent to what you say you value. So like I just said before, we create our values and now we're going to have integrity with them. Week 14, we're going to talk about your habits. Right? You will learn how to form new habits that fuel your future life in a way that transcends your experience of the past. Week 15, resilience. You will learn how to become resilient when the going gets tough, how to dig deep and stay consistent with your mission. Are you disciplined? Are you resilient? Are you unstoppable right now? Or do you have excuses? Are you looking at areas of your life that you could change? Resiliency, man. No excuses. Let's go out there. Let's grind. Let's get better. When you think about all the other things that you do before you get to the resiliency component, your resiliency is already going to be building. And so for us and to work on that, we're going to maximize your resiliency so that when those moments, when you wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, you really don't feel like going to the gym, or you got a project that you want to work on, but you really don't feel like it, that resiliency is going to get you through. So I'm going to give you tips and tricks on how to become more resilient. And then week 16, sounds crazy, right? 16 weeks. Look at what we're doing. Look what we're doing. Look at the massive impact to create a kick-ass, unstoppable life. Legacy, you will learn how to have an attitude adjustment where needed. Because if you need an attitude adjustment, what I'm saying there is when you think about your legacy, you can ask yourself in this moment, is this fulfilling my legacy? Is this getting me closer to the stated objectives that I want in my life? Is this, no. Okay. So what do I need to do to get back on board and become congruent with that? And finally, the last component is excel. So week 17, move this a little bit more over here. Week 17, again, values. You will learn how to live and lead a value-focused life. I might move that one around a little bit. This is all just work in process, by the way. But pretty much you're going to get all of these things in one way or another. Life apprenticeship. You will learn how to finally honor your apprenticeship to this point in your life for it's time to be acknowledged. And that's something that was big with me working with my coach. And that's why we put that in there, because when I think about that, the apprenticeship of life, how to honor all the different things that have happened for us and kind of put a bow on this. Week 19, vision. You will learn how to champion your vision to new levels. Right? So when you have the vision, like, okay, Chris, what do I do? How do I get that? How do I get to the end result? What things do I have to change? And then we're going to talk about pivoting. We're going to talk about flexibility. We're going to talk about resourcefulness, right? When you think about that, okay, how do I have to pivot? How do I have to become resourceful? But most times we just freeze and then we stay stuck. And then we go back to everything else, or we go to our short-term gratifications to ignore what's going on. And then 5 years pass and we look at it and we go, well, I guess I got to do something about that, right? If you've been wasting time, ladies and gentlemen, because you're hearing this and you're seeing this, this is an indication to you that it might just be time for you to get off your ass and do something about it. That's why I'm here talking to you right now. This is why I'm doing this. It's a lot of work for me to do. Normally I just coach, and I just coach very authentically from my brain and from my heart, but I'm putting everything that I coach into this program so that you guys can benefit from it at a much discount than working with me directly. So it will be a group situation. I probably won't take more than 10 people. I like to get 6 or 8. So if you're interested in that, I'm going to give you an opportunity on how to get in that, but just go fill out the newsletter. I mean, that's the easiest thing. If you want to be a part of this, fill out the newsletter. I'm going to send out the details and let you know. If you're really super excited about wanting to do this, message me privately, because that really tells me that you're ready. So I'm looking for the people who are ready. I don't take everybody who comes to me as a coaching client. When I've done group coaching in the past, there's an application process, because I'm only going to take the people that truly want to do this. And I've worked with people who say they wanted a coach. I've worked with people who said they should have a coach, but it wasn't there. On a scale of 1 to 10, they were about a 6. And I want people who are 8, 9, and 10. Like, man, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to do this, because when you have people like that, it's exciting. It's exciting. You don't have to pull people through the process because they're ready to take that chance. They're ready to take that risk. I had to get new in-ear monitors. They keep popping out. The final weeks, week 21. Again, there's that no excuses component. We're going to be talking about all of these simultaneously as we go through the process, because they all build and lend on each other. So it may not be in a specific week, but you're definitely going to learn the first week about no excuses, because that's what this is all going to be about. But here, you will learn to redefine your relationship with excuses in your life and to finally end the vicious cycle of dissatisfaction. Dissatisfaction. Are you satisfied with your life? If you say yes, that's good. But why just be satisfied? I want to experience, I want to live life. I want to taste the fruits of my labor. I want to go out there and have blood, sweat, and tears every day, and knowing that I put my best out there, because I'm not wasting this life. God's honest truth, guys. It could be over like that. We've all experienced it. We all have had people in our life that have suddenly died and went, wow, what happened? But we think we're going to live forever. We think we're always going to have tomorrow. But just think about all the different things that you haven't said and haven't done. And think about it. If you got cancer and you had 6 months to live, and I've seen this. This is why I do this shit, because I see people go, fuck, I wish I wouldn't have wasted so much time. I wish I wouldn't have cared what other people were thinking of me. I wish. I want you to stop wishing. I stopped wishing. When I made that investment back in 2013, it shifted. Has it been easy? Fuck no. There's been hard. There's been times where I wanted to give up. In 2016, I did give up for a while. I wasn't being congruent. I quit coaching for, 6 months. I said, I just want to go to work, come home. And I literally would say it like this. I just want to go to work, come home, grab a 6-pack of beer and watch the news and watch sports. I just wanted to be a quote unquote normal person because I wasn't being congruent. So I had to go through the shitstorm to finally have me realize and to put this on my arm. Actually, we'll just stop sharing screen for a second. Just in case you've never seen it. Right there. What doesn't kill me only makes me stronger. What doesn't kill me only makes me stronger. I tattooed it on my forearm in 2016 because I said, Chris, when you look down, when shit's going bad, it's making you stronger. I don't want to be stronger. I'm strong enough. No, I want to be stronger. I want to be as strong as I possibly can because I have a why. I have a 5-year-old son that I want to be congruent with. When he says, Dad, should I follow my dreams? I want to say yes, because I did. And now I'm successful. And that was my whole impetus for doing all this, for leaving corporate, leaving a comfortable, safe, certain job and career. When I left that place, I could have went to another place and probably got a bigger job and made more money. But it's not about the money. It's not. You're not taking it with you. You know what you're taking with you? The knowledge and the understanding that you lived your life to its fullest, that you didn't fucking give up. You didn't play it safe. You didn't listen to what everybody else said. Who are they the expert of? You or them? They're the expert of them. Let them be the fucking expert of them. You be the expert of you. You do you. That's it. Do you. Okay? Can you do that? That's what I want you to do. Let's see what's on week 22. Week 22. I'm fired up. Can you tell I'm fired up? I want you to be fired up too. So it's week 22. Congruency. Oh, we were just talking about that. You will learn about the kick-ass congruence model to champion new life efficiencies. I just realized there's a P missing out of there. Ben Aiden. Ben, you watching this? I already fixed 2 spelling mistakes. Week 23, support. You will learn how to elicit support in a way that honors your end game. Guess what I'm doing right now? I'm asking you for support. Truth. My coach said you need to ask more people for more things. Because I don't want to ask anybody. I don't want to bother anybody. I don't want to. She's like, can you imagine, Chris? I just want you to imagine. She goes, how many people do you know that are in a position of power and money? And I said, quite a few. She goes, what would happen if you reached out to 10 of them and asked each of them to give you 3 recommendations for a $10,000 speaking engagement? They would ask, I guess. Maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't. She goes, what would happen if you got 2 or 3 of them? I'm like, yeah. She goes, you won't get 2 or 3 of them unless you ask. Yeah. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. This is something I'm learning right now. So I'm going to teach it to you as well, but in a way that honors your end game. And week 24, a sustainability plan. You will learn how to sustain and integrate the changes of this program. Are you hooked? It's all right there. Down at the bottom, you got, oh, I guess it goes this way. You got testimonials for days from all different people. Actually, that's my coach right there. She goes, if you're interested in motivation and inspiration, I highly recommend following Christopher Rausch, the No Excuses coach, and Scott Goyette, founder of CN. Well, it's got Scott in there. But anyways, you guys get the idea. So it's all right there. Starting September 22nd, here's some more details of that. But again, all you have to do is go right there, hit that button, hit that button, hit that button, hit that button, and join it. But better yet, if you're really fucking interested, message me. Message me. You're not making a commitment to do it. You're just telling me, hey, Chris, when that shit comes out, I want to be your first guy, because those people are going to get first priority. Trust me. And I'm not going to do it at a discounted rate for a long time. I'll probably do 1 or 2 courses, 1 or 2 programs just to kind of work out the structure of this. And then I'm going to charge more because that's what I'm worth. Because I have invested thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in myself. I've dedicated years of my life to learning. It took me, basically when I went back to school after I was a 7th grade dropout, I went to school for 12 years to get my master's degree while I was working full time. I literally gave up everything else. I had 1 day to myself with my girlfriend, and other than exercising, everything was school and work, school and work, school and work. I missed parties. I missed all sorts of things because I was dedicated and committed to what it is that I was doing. Are you dedicated and committed to doing what you're doing? Huh? Chris, what? Sorry, the football game's on. Well, go figure out the football game, right? Go figure out the football game. So here's something else I want to leave you with because we're running short on time. So I want to let you know what is up. So here's a couple more things just for you. I want to ask you 5 questions. It's called the 5 W's. The 5 W's. Why do you really want it? What's the worst that can happen? Who are your 5 people? Where can you start today? And when will you have had enough? Remember what I said at the top of the show? If you missed the show, if you came in, please, I'm asking you, Go back and watch the beginning of it because it all ties together. When will you have had enough? When will you stop simply existing? When will you start living your life? Answer these questions. Where can you start today? Well, Chris, I can fill out your newsletter thing. Chris, I can reach out to you. Chris, I can go get a book and I can really start applying the shit in the book. Here's something I'll tell you because I'm transparent. If you want to change your life, if you want all of this, I could probably tell you, I'd probably give you 5 to 10 books as recommendations. Now a book costs what, $20? So 5 books is $100, 10 books is $200. $200. I will give you 10 book suggestions. All you have to do is go read them and apply what's in them and learn from what you apply and keep going. I mean, the God's honest truth, I've done this for years and years and years. I've even offered to people, and I'll offer it to you since you guys are Raw and Unscripted. You're my family. You're Misfits for life. If you do it and you come report to me, I will help you. Just because you're putting that foot forward, you have to honestly do it. Like if I ask you questions about what you read and what you're applying, you better fucking answer. Maybe I'll create a little group out of that. Because I gotta figure out to I can't do it for everybody, but I'm just making a point. Like it's out there. Like if you Google something, how to get out of financial debt, and you just follow the fucking instructions, it'll happen. If you go to YouTube and you watch TED Talks and you do this and you do that, you're going to figure it out. But the problem is that people don't have the discipline. They don't have all the things that I'm going to teach you. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Oops. I just realized I didn't. Oh, whoops. I forgot. I'm so passionate. You didn't even get the chance to see it. So there's the 5 whys right there. Why do you really want it? What's the worst that can happen? Who are your 5? Who are the 5 people? Who are your team? Who are the 5 people that are going to help you make it happen? You need to write them down. You need to talk to them. You need to discuss expectations about how they're going to hold you accountable. And then when will you've had enough? Have you had enough now, or are you good? You're gonna stay complacent and miserable and existing in life until something else happens? Until maybe your health goes bad or somebody dies that was inspirational to you? What is it going to be for you? I'm here to ask you that because that's my job. That's what I want to do. And that's just my way. It's not me selling you anything. It's my way of impacting you. And I want one more slide before I leave this out for you. I have a question for you. One more question. If I gave you $1,440, if I gave you $1,440 every single day, would you take it? Oh yeah, Chris, I would. Oh my God. Why is it $1,440, Chris? Because it's time. So here, I'm going to give you the money, but you have to spend it every single day. And if you don't get it back. You don't get to keep it. We have 1,440 minutes or 1,440 seconds, in a day. How are you spending them? If those were dollars, would you spend them? If I gave you 1,000, oh shit, yeah, Chris, I would spend them. I'm going to make this clear for you. People are rich. People are sick. I've seen people with more money than anything, and they don't do anything with it. But then they burn themselves out to get all the money and get all the shit, and then they get sick, and then they die early. And then they spend all their money trying to get better again, just to get back to homeostasis, just to get back to where they were healthy. They give it all up. I would trade everything. I had somebody tell me the other day, world famous motivational speaker said, I would give up my fame and my fortune and everything to have one more year of my grandkids. What? I would give up everything. All of it's not important. He wants to leave an impact for his grandkids, but he's sick. He doesn't care about all this shit anymore. He got to the point in his life that I'm trying to teach you that it doesn't matter what we have. It matters who we are. It matters what we do. It matters about our legacy. And if we're passionate about that, we're living our life, not just existing in it. Because when you're living your life, you go out there and make the world a better place. When I was existing in life, I wasn't making the world a better place. I was taking up space. Not in a mean way, but I really was. So what is it going to be for you? How are you going to figure this out? How are you going to figure this out? Go to ChristopherRausch.com. Tell me. Let me know. I'm doing this, baby. I'm doing this with or without you, but you guys get an opportunity to be on the ground floor. And those that are in these first few programs and these first few courses or whatever it might be, I'm going to take care of you, because what I want you to do is become massively successful and go out there and tell everybody else, go see Christopher Rausch. And I will fulfill that commitment. I will, because I have integrity. I have everything. So I love you guys. Thank you for sticking in with me for this long episode. I hope you found value out of it. I'm sure you did. If you didn't, then don't watch me anymore, because that was a lot. If you just take that, go to the bank. All right. I love you guys. We'll see you after I get back from Italy. Stay classy, stay kick ass, and stay